So here's the problem. A lot of times we are blaming other people or the universe for things that we are or are not receiving. And the truth is that it starts with us. You're listening to the Modern Sage podcast. I'm Leah Guy. I'm back. It's been a few weeks. I had my show, and I'm happy to be here today to talk to you about this really important topic. Are you available? So, this question, are you available? Am I available? It's an important question for pretty much every aspect of our life, including relationships, intimate personal relationships with lovers, with loved ones, with friends, with our community, as well as boundaries in our life, as well as the bigger picture of our availability of how we're interacting with spirit, with the universe, with how things are aligning for us. We can talk about manifestation. It goes in so many different directions. And so I just sent out a newsletter today about this topic, asking some particular questions having to do with this concept of am I available? If you're not subscribed to my newsletter yet, please go to leahguy.com and sign up. So let's dig into this a little bit. Let's start with the relationships. A lot of us feel that we're available. There's a very particular nuance about availability, meaning, of course, on the surface level, if someone asks, are you available to talk today? We can look at our schedule, look at our calendar and go, yeah, I'm available. Or nope, I'm not available today. I can do it tomorrow. That's the top layer of availability. Similarly, for relationships, are you available for a relationship? You could say, well, I'm not attached. So, yes, I'm available, or I am attached. So, no, I'm not available. Are you available for new friendships? No, I'm not available for new friendships. I have too many friends. Or, yes, I'm available. I would love to have more people in my life. When we look at our time, it's another level of availability. How much time do you have to give to your animals or to your work or to your community or your family or your friends or your loved one? So there's all these layers of availability, but this nuance, this energy about availability is very specific and personal to us. And it's tied to the way that we hold space, our heart space, our mind space, our energy field of availability. Because a lot of times we operate in protection mode, protecting our wounded self. We operate in fear mode, afraid of vulnerability and intimacy. We operate from a place of insecurity. Am I worthy enough? Am I not? And trying to navigate and engage the world off of that filter. So there's a lot of different nuances within us that ultimately determine how available we are. Now, if you're like me, I spent years in relationships of all kinds, where I was attracting unavailable people. Maybe on the surface, they were available. They had time on their hands, or they, quote, wanted a relationship of some sort. But ultimately, they weren't fully available, either emotionally available or mentally available, prepared within themselves, or some other way. Physically, they may not be available. And it's important that we recognize when we are attracting unavailable people, for example, or unavailable circumstances, meaning circumstances that may present themselves as opportunities, but then don't go anywhere, that we're not attuned to ourselves enough to understand that we are not available in some aspect or another either. And that's a hard thing to look at because, of course, then we have to take responsibility of our availability, of how we are manifesting, of how we are attracting. Even with the universe in this larger scope of interaction, whether you pray to God or angels, this same kind of relationship exists. How available are we? In this way, a lot of times we ask for certain things, or we complain about certain things, or we play victim to in certain aspects or circumstances in our life. And we pawn it off as bad things happen to me all the time, or the shoe's going to drop, or I don't trust this situation. But the reality is because we are protecting those parts of us that don't trust, those parts of us that don't want to be fully connected, those parts of us that don't want to have faith or be open to what is actually real in front of us, we start operating from a mode of potential, seeing the potential in things, but not the reality of things. We operate in denial, denying the truth of what other people are sharing with us. It's really interesting because when you listen to people, or when you listen to your intuition, or when you listen to spirit or God, we often hear the truth. We will be told the truth of what is available, who is available. People often will tell us who they are. The universe often reveals to us pretty easily what is available for us. But because we're in this denial mode, or we're in some kind of conflict, or we're in a victim state, or we're in a blaming state, or we're in the potential of what could be, we refuse to recognize what is shared with us. And so then we start playing this, for lack of a better word, game with ourselves of, well, if I wait, or once they get to a better place, or things could change, or what if this, or maybe that. And so this availability energy, as I said, this nuanced energy within us is so connected to the intricate little pieces of us that want to try to control the outcome, and that want to keep us safe or separate, or engaged in a way that maybe isn't even healthy for us. And then we start going towards these other behavioral modifications like codependency, or people pleasing, or becoming like a doormat for people, and living according to where they are instead of what we actually want or need, or recognizing the truth of who we are. So this question of availability, you can see how it's an important question to ask ourselves as kind of a check-in. All right. When we wake up in the morning, most of us are on autopilot. We're living out our subconscious. We're not even consciously thinking about what we're doing, but we feel somewhat available for the day. As long as the day looks like how we expect it to look due to our expectations or our previous history, right? And even in that way, we become less available. We become less available to be open to meeting a new friend, or a stranger, or receiving help from people, or um, listening to the calls of our spirit to take action on the thing that we need. We become less available to allow people to give to us or to help us because we feel guilty, or insecure, or shameful, or embarrassed, or shy. And so when we're living from this subconscious kind of routine patterned way, often from our emotional addictions, it's really almost impossible to be fully available. And what does it mean to be fully available? That does not mean overextending of yourself, being the person that goes along with what everyone else wants, just being selfless. Being fully available in its truest form is knowing in our heart, in our spirit, in our mind, in our capacity that we have, of how we can be present and show up for ourselves and for other people in the moment, in the given day, in the time. It's also available to be seen, available to really make connections that are not manipulated, that we're not trying to manipulate other people to only see parts of us, but that we're available to truly be seen, our flaws, our imperfections, our gifts, our joys, our quirks, our special ways of thinking, our belief systems. When we're feeling safe enough inside, we can be available for other people. When we are available, it's easier to make authentic, genuine, energetic matches with people who are similar to us with their availability. I mean, we're doing that all the time anyway. But if you're not getting what you want, if you're not attracting the right people or circumstances, if we're in this mode of projecting onto other people, or blaming other people, or playing victim, or waiting and not choosing, not being fully available and transparent, it's near impossible to attract the kinds of people that will meet us where we authentically want to be met, which is our healthy version of availability. When we also think about boundaries, for example, our goal doesn't always have to be fully available to all people all the time. That's not a healthy, realistic goal either. It is to stay available, to open, to being receptive and giving and connecting and interchanging with people in a healthy way. And that includes our boundaries. That includes some parameters for ourselves so that we can know what is good for us and what is not good for us. So this idea of availability can help us shape our boundaries in a way of simply thinking of it like, I'm available for this, I'm not available for that. And it has nothing to do with the other person. It has nothing to do with really what people want from us. It's a check in deep within ourselves of recognizing this is what I'm available for. And when I'm available for this, I am fully available. I am open. I am receptive. I'm willing to be seen. I give and I take, and I'm right here in the present moment. But because I have to also be true to and preserve the structure and security and boundaries of myself, that there are some times that we are not available, and knowing when those times are can be really helpful to you. So for example, if someone asks something of you and maybe you have the time but you don't have the emotional resource, the healthy and honest thing would be to say, I'm not available for that. If someone wants something emotionally but we don't have the time at that moment that they're requesting, we can say, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that right now, but it looks like tomorrow or this weekend I could be available for that. These are ways to set healthy boundaries for ourselves. In this way, being unavailable is a healthy structure. It's knowing our limits, knowing how we can function without making ourselves sick, wearing ourselves out, getting into resentment or anything like that. That kind of structured unavailability is very different than an energetic unavailability that is blocking our heart and our core wounds and our patterns and our emotional addictions that we have from our past. I often say, a lot of people are walking around this world with one lane of their heart open, or part of their heart open. So if we think of it like a highway, sometimes there's a two-lane highway, and one lane going out would be what we're giving to people, and the lane coming the other direction is what we're receiving from people. And due to people's past and how they've been hurt and their what they've learned from their environment, if they haven't done their healing work or given attention where it needs to be given, we can have one lane of our heart, maybe the lane going out, open, but the lane that's coming in, the receiving lane, is closed. Or we can have it partially closed. If it's a 4-lane highway, maybe we divide that energy up some. And, in certain circumstances and under certain conditions, we feel heart connected and open and willing to give. And in certain conditions, we can receive. But in a full, intimate, connected way, we don't have all lanes operating. The traffic is halted. And this idea of being unavailable, it's not about traffic flow for a healthy boundaried reason. It's more about stopping traffic because of fear that gets in the way of allowing us to be available. So there's all sorts of ways in our lives that we are available or unavailable. It starts with a conscious thought in the morning of, am I available today to have contact with my family? Am I available today for intimacy or discovering new things? Am I available today to plan something for my future? Or do I need to stay really present today and in my body in the now? What are we available for? And as you start to look at all these questions, then we can answer them with our truth and not feel guilty or strained or ashamed of the answer. The trick is to be so honest with yourself, genuinely honest, not playing any games with ourselves. And that will shore up your boundaries. It will help give you direction, and it will also give you information of how your growth is going, your healing is going, your relationships can deepen. There's so much there when we really get honest about what we're available for. It's okay to not be available at certain times or seasons in your life for other people, for lovers, for family, for pets, for new jobs, for moves, or whatever is going on. It's okay if you know that that is your authentic truth and you're not putting a roadblock up to divert the traffic because of fear or because we're protecting ourselves so that we don't get hurt. When we get into that energy, that's what needs our attention. To be free, to live in a heart open space is to be available. We are available to what is here for us. When we pray, when we meditate, we don't pray demanding God or the heavens to do as we want. We pray in this state of surrender, in this open availability. Yes, we can share the desires, we can share our concerns, we can ask for what we think we want and be available for that for certain. But to truly be available, we are saying, I am here. And what comes my way, I am grateful as a lesson, as an opportunity, as a connection. And I am here for that. I am available to experience and to witness what actually happens today. I am available to step out of my routine, to be more conscious and to be living in the moment and available to see, how do I feel today? What is possible today? Where is my heart calling me towards today? Where can I serve today? I'm available. And even when we're in that state, we can still have our healthy boundaries. Some healthy boundaries may be very simple, and they're hard to employ, but they're very simple in nature. I shared recently when I was teaching on Insight Timer an example such as if one of my boundaries is to be in bed by 10:30, preferably 10, but 10:30, let's say. And I have a friend or friends who want to go out to dinner at 8:30. The question isn't, can I do it? How can I push myself to do it? What if I don't go? Then will they ever ask me out to dinner again? All of that is based out of fear. The question is am I available? How am I available to spend time with people that I love and be in bed by 10:30? Is that possible? And if it's not, then I have to make a decision for myself. I'm available for this, but I'm not available for this, or I'm available to come for part of the time, but I will leave in order to take care of myself. I'm not available after 10 p.m. That's a very silly example, but not really, because it's a normal daily example that maybe you can relate to. In relationships, we have to dig a little deeper. Am I available? Do I have the time, the emotional capacity, the trust, the steadiness within me to have a new relationship, a new friendship? Am I available for that truly? I may want that, but wanting it is different than being fully available for that. If we abandon our truth of that availability and then we enter in relationships that we actually don't have the capacity for, there is no question that that relationship is either going to end quickly or end poorly, one of the two, unless the other person is equally unavailable. And maybe you just make a distant friend that casually get together every now and then. And that's fine if that's what works for both of you. But we have to be mindful about this question. Otherwise, we start playing this game within ourselves and with the world outside of us, saying that we want one thing or complaining that we're not getting this thing. But the truth is, we're not available for that in the first place, or we're not available for the depth of what the opportunity that we're seeking would require. And we have to align that within ourselves first. So, your general questions today, or if you want to use this in your healing work and your daily consciousness practice, is, am I available for that? Well, maybe you want to start with the question of, what does it mean for me to be available? Not just with my time, not just with my mind, not just with my schedule, but in my spirit, in my heart. Am I available for this? A lot of us that have been stuck in survival mode or operate from a fear-based living, we either want to say yes to everything so that we don't miss something, or we want to say no to everything so that we don't have to engage or apply ourselves. And that's one of those questions of, am I restricting myself out of fear, out of guilt, out of shame, out of insecurity, out of protecting my heart because I don't trust myself to endure? hurt, or heartache? Am I saying yes too often so that I try to make sure that I have people, even if I'm not sure I like them or that I'm available to them? Am I saying yes because I'm afraid if I say no, that another opportunity won't come, or another client won't come, or another person won't come? And so you can see how it's very easy to make decisions based on people and circumstances outside of us without even checking within ourselves first. Are you available? There's no wrong answer. What we're looking for is the true answer. And when you are available, when you're truly available, this is when magic can happen. When you can manifest, when you can witness, when you can receive help, signs, opportunities. This is when we are in the state of trust, in a high frequency of that surrender and acceptance and willingness. This is the place where the magic happens, knowing, yes, I am, or right now, I'm not available. And that too is where magic can happen. You've heard that saying before: when one door closes, another one opens, or there's all kinds of those cliches, right? Sometimes we need to say no because that is our truth. And that doesn't mean no is forever for all circumstances, people, or opportunities. But if we know ourselves and we know, no, I'm not available for that, we're helping the universe, we're helping ourselves align with what we are available for. And that is where we start really finding our people, our places, our opportunities. So we all have seasons in our lives. Sometimes we're in a very rooted, grounded, slow, still season, reflective season. Sometimes we're in a go season. Sometimes we're in a discovery season. Sometimes we're in a kind of a cleaning house season. Sometimes we're in a healing season. There's all kinds of seasons that we are in, and we have to know where we are and accept that so that we can align ourselves and know our availability or our unavailability for what is around us, what is presented to us. But I know personally, when I am in that aligned state, when I am in a place of surrender, when I am trusting myself and God, when I am saying, yes, I'm available, that feels vulnerable. It feels beautiful. It feels connected, and it feels alive. And so my work is to try to help people, as well as myself, become available for what they want. We don't need to be available for everything or everyone. We don't need to play the martyr. We don't need to be the victim. We don't need to project or manipulate or operate from fear or our addictions. We need to know who we are, what we want, and listen to the quiet voice within that is always guiding us. And when we listen to that, and when we are attuned to ourselves, we will surely know, yes, I'm available, or no, I'm not available. And there's no problem, no problem. Either way, I hope this is helpful for you. If nothing else, just for something to think about for yourself today, how you structure your relationships with yourself and with other people. Always remember, I have resources available if you'd like to work with me in any way: one-on-one sessions, courses, meditations, retreats, workshops, books. Use them. And there's a lot of wonderful other resources as well. I wish you a beautiful day. Follow me on social media if you don't already, at Leah the Modern Sage. These podcasts are on YouTube as well, so join me there. And before I leave today, I just want to say a special thank you to people, to the love and the people who attended my show. That was an example, doing that show, and I will be doing more of, even though there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of work involved, a lot of trust involved, but a lot of fear, a lot of intimidation. I knew in myself that I am available for this. And I trust myself, and I trust the universe. I trust God to pull this together. And it happened, and it happened wonderfully. And so thank you for those who came. If you're interested in coming to a future one, again, please sign up for my newsletter, follow me on social media. You'll find out where they are. I also learned in that experience what I'm not available for. regarding the show. And so we keep moving and learning and evolving and growing and asking this very simple question, am I really available for that? Can be quite powerful in any decision that you need to make, any relationship, any opportunity, and in just your day-to-day living. So thanks for listening. I'm Leah Guy with the Modern Sage Podcast, and I will see you real soon. We're going to have some new upcoming podcasts each week for the next few weeks, and I hope you tune in. Take care.